Welcome to English Stories US. Do you feel stuck when learning English? Have you ever thought, no matter how hard I try, I just can't become fluent? I understand that feeling. I started from zero, just like you. I couldn't understand a single word, and I was scared to speak. But today I can talk with people, watch movies, and even teach others. How did I do it? And how can you do it too? Stay with me, because in this video, I will share my step-by-step journey and show you how you can follow the same path. If you have ever felt lost, afraid, or unsure about learning English, don't worry. You are not alone. I was in the same place, but I found a way to improve. And so can you. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start, take small steps, and keep going. Let's begin this journey together. Part 1. My struggles before learning English. I grew up in a small town where people did not speak English. In my home, we only used our local language. At school, English was just another subject, like math or science. I never thought it was important because I did not hear it in my daily life. It felt like a language that belonged to other people, not to me. The first time I heard English in a movie, I was surprised. The characters were laughing and talking, but I could not understand anything. The words sounded strange, and I felt lost. My friends enjoyed the movie, but I sat there in silence, feeling like I was in a different world. At that moment, I realized how much I was missing. In school, English was very difficult for me. The teacher wrote words on the board and said them out loud. My classmates repeated them easily, but I could not understand. The letters and sounds did not make sense to me. When the teacher asked questions, I stayed quiet because I was afraid of making mistakes. I thought that if I spoke, my classmates would laugh at me. So, I tried to hide and avoid speaking in class. Outside of school, I also faced problems because I did not know English. When I walked in the city, I saw signs in English, but I did not understand them. People in shops sometimes used English words, but I could not respond. It made me feel small and powerless. As I got older, I realized that English was everywhere. I saw English in music, on the internet, and in books. Many good jobs required English, and I knew that if I wanted a better future, I needed to learn it. But I felt that I was too far behind. Learning English seemed impossible. The fear of failure stopped me from trying. I told myself that I was not smart enough to learn English. Every time I opened an English book, I felt confused. I wanted to give up before I even started. It felt like English was a secret that only some people could understand. One day, something changed. I saw a friend of mine speaking English with confidence. He was not perfect, but he was not afraid. He made mistakes, but people still understood him. I asked him how he learned, and he told me, "I just practice a little every day. It is okay to make mistakes." His words made me think. That night, I made a decision. I told myself that I would try, even if I made mistakes. I did not want to feel lost anymore. I wanted to understand movies, music, books, and people. I wanted to open new doors for my future. This was the beginning of my journey. It was not easy, and I was still afraid, but for the first time, I had hope. I knew that if I took small steps every day, I could learn. And so, my real English learning journey began. Part 2. My step-by-step journey to fluency. 1. learning the basics first. When I first started learning English, I knew I had to begin with the basics. I could not jump into speaking or writing without first understanding the most important part of the language, the alphabet. I realized that before learning words or sentences, I needed to know the letters, how they looked, and how they sounded. Learning the alphabet first. The alphabet was my first big challenge. I had seen English letters before, but I did not know how to use them. To learn, I started by writing each letter again and again. At first, it was difficult because some letters looked similar. I sometimes mixed up B and D, P and Q, or even M and N. But I did not stop. I wrote the letters every day until I could remember them. I also practiced reading the letters out loud. This helped me learn how each letter sounded. Some letters were easy, but others were harder because they sounded different from my own language. I listened to alphabet songs and watched videos where people said the letters slowly. I repeated after them to make sure I was saying them correctly. Flashcards helped me a lot. I made my own by writing a letter on one side and drawing a picture of a word that started with that letter on the other side. For example, for A, I drew an apple. For B, I drew a ball. This made learning fun and helped me remember the letters better. Practicing writing letters. Writing the letters was not easy at first. Some letters were hard to write neatly, and I sometimes wrote them backward. My handwriting was not good, and I felt frustrated. But I knew that practice makes perfect, so I kept going. Every day, I wrote the alphabet from A to Z. Then, I wrote it again in the opposite order, from Z to A. This helped me recognize the letters faster. I also wrote each letter many times in my notebook. Slowly, my handwriting improved, and I started feeling more confident. Recognizing letters in daily life. Once I knew the letters, I tried to find them everywhere. When I walked outside, I looked at street signs, shop names, and advertisements to see if I could recognize letters. I also picked up books and newspapers and looked for letters I had learned. I started reading simple words like dog, cat, sun, and tree. When I saw these words in real life, I felt happy because I could understand them. This made me want to learn more. I also played a small game with myself. Every day, I picked one letter and tried to find it in different places. For example, if I chose the letter T, I looked for it on signs in books and even on my phone. This made learning fun and helped me remember the letters better. Overcoming early difficulties. At the beginning, learning the alphabet was confusing. Some letters were hard to remember, and I felt frustrated when I forgot them. Sometimes, I wanted to give up because it seemed too hard. But I told myself that every new skill takes time. I reminded myself that I was making progress, even if it was slow. I started practicing for just 10 to 15 minutes a day, instead of trying to learn everything at once. This helped me stay motivated. I also asked for help. My friends and family helped me practice. Sometimes, I showed them my writing, and they told me which letters looked good and which ones needed more work. Their encouragement made me feel proud of my small progress. I also started using simple tricks to remember difficult letters. For example, to remember B and D, I imagined B as a balloon and D as a drum. This made it easier to tell them apart. Conclusion. Learning the alphabet was my first step in learning English. It was not easy, But with writing practice, reading out loud, using flashcards, and playing games, I slowly memorized the letters. Even though I struggled at first, I did not give up. If you are just starting to learn English, my advice is to start with the basics and take small steps every day. You will improve, and soon you will be ready for the next challenge. Got it? Below is the same structured content, but with new examples to make it different from the original version while keeping it clear, logical, and using only simple, easy-to-understand words from the 3,000 most common English words. 2. Building my confidence to speak English. At first, I was terrified to speak English. Every time I thought about speaking, fear filled my mind. I always asked myself, what if I say something wrong? What if people think I am not smart? These thoughts stopped me from speaking. I wanted to improve, but I was too scared. I avoided speaking English as much as possible. In class, when my teacher asked students to read, I pretended to be busy so she wouldn't call my name. When I went to the store, I never tried speaking English because I was afraid the shopkeeper would not understand me. But one day, I realized something very important. The only way to improve speaking is by speaking. I understood that no one speaks perfectly at first. Even professional athletes practice every day to get better. I told myself, I will not wait until I am perfect. I will start now. I will speak every day, even if I make mistakes. Speaking to myself every day. Since I was too nervous to speak to others, I started by speaking to myself. This helped me feel more comfortable with words. I practiced in small, simple ways. Talking to myself about things around me. And when I looked at my shoes, I said, "These shoes are new." And while drinking coffee, I said, "My coffee is hot." And when I saw my cat, I said, "The cat is sleeping." At first, it felt strange to talk to myself. But after a few days, I got used to it. I noticed that speaking out loud helped me think in English instead of translating in my head. Using a mirror to practice pronunciation. To improve my pronunciation, I started using a mirror. Every day, I stood in front of the mirror and said simple sentences. Hi, my name is Daniel. I love watching movies. This is my backpack. Watching myself speak made me more aware of how my mouth moved. I repeated difficult words many times until they sounded better. Why this worked? Speaking out loud made words feel natural. I started to feel comfortable with my own voice. I learned how to move my mouth correctly to pronounce words better. After a few weeks, I became less nervous. My voice sounded clearer and stronger. The big change, feeling comfortable with speaking. After practicing by myself, I noticed. I was less afraid of speaking. Words came faster to my mind. I started enjoying English instead of feeling nervous. This small change gave me the confidence to try speaking to other people. I still made mistakes, but I didn't worry anymore. I knew that every mistake was helping me get better. Now I speak with confidence because I practice every day. If you feel afraid to speak, start small. Talk to yourself, use a mirror, and just keep going. Remember, the more you speak, the easier it gets. Training my ears with listening practice. When I first started learning English, listening felt impossible. People spoke too fast, and I could only catch a few words. I often felt frustrated because I couldn't understand what they were saying. Even when I watched English movies with subtitles, I couldn't keep up. But then I realized something. I had to train my ears. Just like babies learn a language by listening first, I needed to listen more before I could understand better. 3. Starting with simple listening. Since real conversations were too fast for me, I started with simple English first. Listening to songs. I chose songs with clear lyrics like Count on Me by Bruno Mars. I listened to the same song many times and tried to guess the meaning of words. I used lyrics videos to read while listening, which helped me connect sounds with words. Watching simple English cartoons. I watched Bluey and Dora the Explorer because the characters spoke slowly and clearly. The visuals helped me understand the meaning, even if I didn't know every word. I repeated short phrases from the shows like, "Let's go," or "I did it." Singing along to songs. Even when I didn't understand every word, I still sang along. Repeating the sounds helped me remember new words without stress. My pronunciation improved because I copied the way singers said words. Why this method worked? At first, I didn't understand much, but I kept listening every day. After a few weeks, something amazing happened. My brain got used to hearing English sounds. I started recognizing common words and phrases. I felt more comfortable when listening to English speakers. By training my ears, I built a strong foundation. Soon, I was ready for more difficult listening challenges. If listening feels hard, start small. Listen to songs, cartoons, or slow English. Over time, you will understand more. 4. Improving grammar and writing skills. At first, writing in English felt very difficult. I didn't know how to form sentences, and I always worried about making mistakes. But I knew that if I wanted to become fluent, I had to practice writing regularly. Starting small, writing simple sentences. Since long sentences were too hard for me, I started with short, simple sentences. Keeping a daily journal. I wrote one sentence every day in the beginning. My first entries were very basic. I am happy. Or today is cold. As I got more comfortable, I added more details. I went to the store with my sister. Using a dictionary to learn new words. When I didn't know how to say something, I looked it up. I wrote new words in a notebook and tried to use them in sentences. For example, when I learned the word delicious, I wrote, "My lunch was delicious today." Building confidence in writing. As I practiced more, I started to write longer sentences. At first I wrote, "I like music." Later I wrote, "I like listening to music when I study because it helps me focus." I also reviewed my old journal entries to see my progress. It was amazing to see how much I had improved. Why this worked? Writing helped me understand grammar naturally. I didn't study grammar rules too much, I just wrote and learned by doing. Reviewing old journals showed my progress. Seeing how my sentences got better over time made me feel proud and motivated me to keep going. If writing feels hard, start small. Write one simple sentence every day, and soon you'll be writing full paragraphs. 5. Finding a community to practice with. At first, I tried learning English alone, But I soon realized that practicing with others was the key to improving faster. Speaking to real people helped me use English in daily conversations, and it made learning more fun and exciting. Joining an English club. One of the best things I did was join an English club at my school. Every week, we had fun activities like playing word games, practicing small conversations, doing role plays, ordering food, asking for directions, etc. At first, I felt shy and nervous, but after a few meetings, I started speaking more confidently. One day, I even stood in front of the group and introduced myself in English, making international friends online. I also wanted to practice with people from different countries, so I joined an online language exchange. How I practiced is sent voice messages to friends in other countries. I watched their videos and repeated their words. I asked them about their culture and shared mine. Talking to people from different places made me realize that accents and mistakes don't matter. Communication does. Speaking with a language partner. To get even more practice, I found a language partner from Australia. We had video calls twice a week where I spoke in English for 15 minutes. He corrected my mistakes kindly. We talked about daily life, hobbies, and favorite foods. At first, I struggled to understand his accent, but over time, my listening skills improved a lot. Why this worked? Real conversations made English feel alive. Instead of just studying from books, I used English in real situations. My confidence skyrocketed. Speaking every day helped me stop fearing mistakes and start enjoying conversations. If you want to improve fast, find people to practice with. The more you talk, the better you get. Part 3. Overcoming challenges. Learning English was not always easy. I had many hard days when I felt like I wasn't making progress. But instead of giving up, I found ways to stay motivated and keep moving forward. Making mistakes. At the beginning, I made a lot of mistakes while speaking and writing. I used the wrong words in conversations. I mixed up grammar rules. Sometimes, people didn't understand me. One day I tried to say, "I am very excited," but instead I said, "I am very excited." My friend laughed and explained the difference. I felt embarrassed, but I learned something new. I realized that mistakes are just part of learning. Instead of feeling bad, I used them as lessons to improve. Feeling stuck. There were days when I felt like I wasn't improving. I listened to native speakers but couldn't understand them. I struggled to remember new words. I felt frustrated and wanted to quit. But then, I reminded myself, learning takes time. I looked back and saw how much I had already improved. I could understand more words than before. I could say more sentences without translating in my head. I could express my thoughts more clearly. This helped me stay positive and keep going. Celebrating small wins. I found a simple way to stay motivated, celebrating small successes. Learned a new word? Oh, celebrate by using it in a sentence. Watched a video without subtitles? Oh, celebrate by watching another. Had a full conversation in English? Oh, celebrate with a happy dance. Even small progress is progress, and every step forward counts. Why this worked? Mistakes became learning opportunities, not failures. Focusing on progress, not perfection, kept me motivated. Celebrating small wins made learning fun. If you ever feel stuck, just look back at how far you've come. Every mistake, every new word, and every small step gets you closer to fluency. Keep going, you're improving more than you think. Part 4. The results. Now I speak English with confidence. After months of hard work, something amazing happened. One day I realized I could speak without fear. I could watch movies and understand most of the words. I made friends from different countries and had real conversations. I didn't even notice it at first, but little by little, my English improved. Speaking without fear. Before, I was too scared to speak English. I was afraid of making mistakes. But now, I can talk freely without worrying. I can order food at a restaurant in English. I can introduce myself to new people with confidence. I can express my ideas clearly in conversations. One day, I met a traveler from Australia. Before, I would have just smiled and stayed quiet. But this time I said, "Hi. Where are you from?" We had a great conversation, and I felt so proud of myself. Understanding English movies and songs. Watching English movies used to be impossible for me. I needed subtitles all the time, and I still didn't understand everything. But after months of listening practice, something changed. I could watch a movie and understand most of the words. I could listen to songs and recognize common phrases. I could follow conversations without getting lost. One day, I watched a movie without subtitles, and I actually enjoyed it. I laughed at jokes and understood the story. That was a huge moment for me. Making international friends. Learning English has connected me with people from all over the world. I met friends from Brazil, Japan, and Canada. I joined English-speaking groups online. I talked with a language partner and learned about new cultures. Now I can chat with friends from different countries. We talk about food, travel, and life. English has opened a whole new world for me. How learning English changed my life. Before, I thought English was just a school subject. But now I see that it's so much more. More opportunities in my career. Now, I can apply for better jobs. More confidence in social situations. I can meet new people easily. More knowledge. I can read books, watch videos, and learn anything in English. Learning English has transformed my life. It wasn't always easy, but it was worth it. If you're learning English, keep going. Every small step brings you closer to fluency. You've got this. Learning English changed my life, and I know it can change yours too. If you are learning English right now, here is my best advice. Start small, don't overwhelm yourself. You don't need to learn everything at once. Take small steps. Start with basic words and phrases. Learn one new word every day. Practice short, simple sentences first. Small progress every day leads to big results over time. Practice every day, even 10 minutes helps. Consistency is the key to fluency. You don't need hours of study, just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a difference. Listen to one short English podcast every morning. Write one sentence in your journal every night. Speak out loud when doing daily activities. English will become a part of your life before you know it. Speak without fear. Mistakes help you grow. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They help you learn. Speak to yourself in the mirror. Join English conversations online or in person. Don't worry about perfect grammar, just focus on communication. Every mistake is a step toward fluency. Make learning fun. Use songs, movies, and books. English is not just grammar and textbooks. Make it fun. Watch your favorite TV shows in English. Sing along to English songs. Read simple books that you enjoy. When learning is fun, it becomes easier and faster. Surround yourself with English. Talk to people. The best way to learn English is to use it every day. Join an English club or online group. Find a language partner to practice with. Change your phone and social media to English. The more you see, hear, and speak English, the faster you'll improve. Fluency is not about being perfect, it's about progress. Keep practicing, stay patient, and never give up. What's your English learning journey? Share in the comments below. If this video helped you, like and subscribe for more tips. Turn on notifications so you never miss a lesson. Let's keep learning together. See you in the next video.